Hi everybody, welcome to this complete tutorial for beginners in Revit. Learn to use Revit in 2 hours. This video is intended for learners that have started Revit for the first time. Conduct a lesson in the way that even use the different version of the software. This one is the Revit 2020. At the end of the tutorial, you will get the knowledge to draw your own project. Architecture and engineering projects. Now let's then make brief introduction of the program of the software. Revit is the building information modeling software for project documentation. It is different from AutoCAD, that's general CAD software. Revit provides possibility to complete projects in engineering or architectural design. One of the good points about Revit is that when you're modeling projects, it generates different views automatically. So like here you have floor plan and elevation or section. Suppose I'm adding a door in the floor plan, and it will automatically add this door, the new objects, in elevation as well. As you can see here, the door was added in the floor plan, and here we can see it. Unlike AutoCAD, we don't draw lines, curves, or other simple objects in Revit, but the elements we insert in our projects are more complex. Most of them are real part of the buildings, like stairs, doors, windows, and also there is 2D elements like text, dimension, or schedule tables, models, and families. Every time I start Revit, this layout appears when I can choose 2 types of file to work with. Basically, if I want to make projects on Revit, I need to create a new model. At the other hand, families are the elements to use in our projects. Let's look at this in details. I'm going to show you the projects that I've showed you previously. This is the main display of the Revit. The main window is the working area that we draw our projects. On the top, it's located the ribbon. There you can find all the tools that will help you to complete your project, your drawing. It's divided in different categories by architectural, structures, and so on. At the left side, there are located these windows by default, properties and the project browser. And there is possibility to resize or relocate the tabs. The one below is about project manager. What you see in main window, that it's organized by categories: floor plans, 3D views, and elevations or sections. To open views, double click on the what you want, and it will appear in your main views in new tab. Floor plan. Let's look at the 3D view and section, elevation, and the section. It looks like this. And also we have the schedule tables and sheets for printing purposes, among other features that check them out please. Basically you can make full projects in one file. Now I'm going to open sample family projects. Let's start with architecture. It's a sample furniture to use in the architectural projects. The display in the family file is pretty the same as model file. On the project browser, you can still switch between the views. Now let's look at the properties window back in our sample project. If I click on this furniture, you will see the properties, the detail of this furniture active on left side. Here you can find the geometrical details and also the information about the location in the project. Also, the prompts that appear on the properties change depends on the kind of elements that's active. Also, if there is no selected object, the properties will show the current tab. How to use the mouse in the workspace. Working with touchpad is quite difficult, as you need all the time to zoom in and out and move the objects. So the using of the mouse is pretty similar to use it in the AutoCAD. So if you know AutoCAD, it's going to be quite easy for you. Just there are slight differences. With mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out in workspace. To move the workspace area, press and hold the wheel, and now you can move around. Left bottom, select element and selection area. With click in the left bottom, you can select the elements. To select more than one element, you need to left bottom and hold the control and then select more elements. Another option to select objects is using selection areas like AutoCAD. If you hold the left button and start to select from right to left, all the elements that has been touched by the pointers will be selected. However, if I made the selection from left to the right by holding the left button, you need to completely cover the objects to select them. Right button. If you click right button in the workspace, this panel will be appear. For example, it's possible to switch on or off the properties and browser panel. There are others that I can add. In the next chapter, I'm going to talk about how to create a new project. You're going to learn how to draw a floor plan and how to manage the different views. As soon as you click to create new project, this window shows up. There is 4 templates. The difference between them is the organization of the project browser. For example, in the structural template, the tabs are specific for creating a structural project. Of course, there's a possibility to create your own template. You're gonna learn later. Now I'm gonna open the architectural template from File, click on New and Project, and select the architectural template. Okay, and let's go. So now we have opened new file as an architectural template. Now to encourage you to start evolving with the program, you're gonna learn how to create a wall properly in the next few minutes. So I'm gonna draw a wall in a floor plan and switch it in elevation to check it out if the height of the wall is correct or not, and in what level it's placed. So let's go on. Open the view floor plan. If you're not in the level view, double click on the level and it will show up to you. So it's quite easy. Click on the wall at the architecture tab to create a wall, or short key WA. So let's create a horizontal wall, and if you have the default setting of the Revit, it's gonna show you the ISNA points that's active. So create a horizontal or vertical wall. To set up the specific amount, just write the amount and press enter. The same as AutoCAD. Then the system automatically prompts me to insert another wall connected to the previous wall. Once it's done, they are automatically connected. Press escape to exit while creating function. Good thing is here, if you've not saved your project recently, Revit recommends you to do that. Now let's draw an orthogonal walls in an effective way. It's easy. Hold the bottom shift and start to drawing to create orthogonal lines or walls, all straight. So now let's draw a wall with short key WA for wall architecture. And this is important. Anytime I add a new element to the project, the ribbon just switch to Modify tab. The display of the Modify is adapted for current elements. In this case, it's specified for placing a wall. Now let's see how it works. Draw panel tool. The default shape to draw a wall is that according to the shape of the wall, you can choose different shape of the lines. If you know the AutoCAD, these tools and the way they are used is quite similar to AutoCAD. The default and the most common shape is line shape. If you want to draw a rectangle, and if you want to draw a specific length, you're supposed to write the length before. Also, each walls are independent. You can click on numbers to change that. There are also polygons, circle, arcs, or ellipses. Now let's talk about units. The default unit in Revit is millimeter, but there is a possibility to change that in project units. Go to the Manage tab and into the Setting, click on Project Units. Also, the shortcut is UN. In this window, we can change all the units that we use in the Revit in our project. The units are grouped by discipline, as you can see here. The common are probably the most used ones. There you can find the length unit, area volumes, and more. For example, if I change to structural, the units are related to this discipline. Mass, force, energy, there's a big list here. Back to the common, let's change the length. So with clicking on the length, we have the format for the length, that's millimeter, and we can change it to meter or other. And in rounding, you can set the decimal places. I choose 2 decimal to have a precision up to the centimeters. It applies only for dimension lines. Because when I'm sketching, when I'm drawing, the 4 decimal disappearing here. And in unit symbol, you're going to decide if you want this symbol M to appear or not as a meter. Suppress trailing 0. If you take this option, this gonna hide the zeros at the right. As you see, They are no longer there. Okay, let's back to again to wall. So whenever you draw or install a wall into your project, it's based on this line, blue line. It's that the default location of this line is center, wall center line. And in the properties window, you can check where is the location of the line. So if we use this example, the dimension of the wall is going to be in center of the wall. And sometimes it's better to have a line in different positions. Now let's look at different example with different position. If you click on the location line, you have different types. I'm going to explain this later, but for now let's switch to core face exterior. So in this example, the location is located on external side when you're drawing clockwise direction. And if I switch to core face interior, the location is gonna located in the interior part of the wall, clockwise direction. And to make it easier, just press spacebar to relocate the switch between the location of the reference line. Let's back again to location line. You can see the core and finish face. What does it mean? Let's see these examples. For Revit terminology, the simple wall, the ones that we were drawing, the core corresponds for whole of the wall. However, in compound wall, it consider core and finish face. So let's see how we can change the type of the walls. Here in properties, click on this button. You're gonna find several types of the walls. So you can switch between different walls with different width and different materials. If you cannot find the type that you want to draw in this list, you can easily create it. So I'm gonna draw a render on brick on block. That, as you can see, the location line is core face exterior. That's at the bottom of the core, just here. Now I'm gonna introduce you the visual styles and detail level. So to change the visual style, there is a click here in bottom left side, and you can see the current one is wireframe. That's the simplest one and the one that you consume the lowest memory RAM. Let's switch to consistent colors to see how it looks like. Now the icon on the left says the details level. At the moment I use coarse. That's the simplest one. If you switch to medium, you're gonna see more details. And now you can understand the location of the details. In this part, we're going to focus on manipulating the wall and inserting doors and windows, and some important tips that could be useful during this part. Let's go through this process. We're going to draw a wall in first floor, level 1. So let's select a wall architectural from the command wall, and I'm gonna show you something important here, that length dimension increments depends on the zoom. For example, if I zoom out, now you can see dimension changes with the precision of the meters. Also, unlike AutoCAD, the wall, the length is exactly what is on the label. This is exactly 5 meters. Now let's zoom in, and the precision, as you can see, changed to centimeters. Let's zoom in more. The value are even more closely. It's gonna be in the range of 0.02 meters. These settings can be edited in the snaps, located in the Manage tab. In this tab, here is snaps, and the settings is exactly what I explained, what I talked about. Dimension snaps. So length dimension snap increments indicates the range that we're using while drawing. The first value is when I'm in minimum zoom, and it snaps in every meters. I'm going to change the numbers in order to rearrange it. So I rearranged the last one for 0.01. So let's go. I set the location line on face core exterior and draw in a clockwise direction. It's quite simple. I just draw a wall that I have in the plan. If we draw a wall with incorrect length, just double press the escape and select on the wall and type the correct length. Then again activate the command wall to continue drawing. Then I'm going to drawing the wall till I reach the beginning. I finished the drawing external walls. Suppose I'm gonna change the type of wall to have a different thickness. The current one has a width of 140 millimeter. That's too thick. I'm gonna change it to 300. So if I change the thicker one, the external part of the wall doesn't change. The location line is exterior, so it's not gonna change. And the walls goes inside. However, if I use core face interior, the location line would be interior, and it's gonna get thicker from outside. So the interior side has the same measurement. Now let's draw interior walls. So from wall type, I'm gonna choose 14 centimeters, but it's not gonna so much important which wall you started first. Because in Revit, it's quite easy and intuitive to change the wall types after drawing. I'm gonna start with this vertical one, that it's gonna start with this corner. And the wall that's gonna divide the left part into two rooms, it's going to be in 3.8 of this wall. So one way to draw this wall is going to corner at the end and drag mouse to tag the distance and write the amount and place the wall. Let's go to draw the bathroom. So to place the bathroom wall, drag down and type 2.2 and to place the bathroom wall there. The next is 1.13. The next one, as I don't know the length, so I put more or less there because I can change it later. It's not a problem. And the next one is 0.86. And the last one, I just wanna connect that to the external one at the top. Let's see how to manipulate walls and dimensions. Whenever you select a wall, the temporary dimension appear to measure the distance from the nearest walls. Usually the wall that has the same direction. You can move walls easily by click and holding left button. At the same time, The intersect walls extend to not separate. However, you cannot move the walls up or down. And in the case of diagonal walls, it's gonna be shorter or longer to keep the same angle, as you can see in this example. Another way to change the wall position is modifying the temporary dimensions. Let's see what will happen if I change this to 4 meters. The dimension in the other side is also readjusted. Temporary and permanent dimensions. Temporary dimension lines is just appear when you select a certain element. To make it permanent, simply click on this symbol. Then click again to put it there. The size of the dimension line depends on the current scale. Because dimension lines in Revit are illustrative, I'm going to change the scale to half. It's this icon here. To 150. When scale changes, dimension lines also are readjusted. Now let's learn how to change this temporary dimension. These dots indicates the position of the dimensions. Like the measurement starts on the side. If you click one time, it's gonna change to the other side. Clicking one more time, it's gonna measure from mid-center. If you click and hold, you can change this baseline to another place. Now it measures the full length of this line. Wall here in the bathroom. To measure between two specific distance, click on this icon, measure. Measure between two references. It is quite simple tool to use. Click for placing the start point, for example, from this wall till the opposite side to here. You can see the distance. Let's add doors and windows to the floor plan. Revit provides an intuitive options to insert doors and windows in our projects. Those icons located on the architectural tab. Now let's insert a door. Click on the door and then click on wherever you want to have it. Place spacebar to flip the direction. After placing the door, you can flip the direction of the door with clicking on these symbols. To change the door types, we do the same as walls. Click on this tab and select which one you want to use. The door categorized with width and height dimensions. I'm going to select wider door to see how it resized. So as you can see, the resize is from the center point. Then distances from the corners are affected. Then I need to change the distance if I consider it. Click on the element, edit and type. Here you can change the properties for these door types. For example, to change the width, just import the value. If you want to create new type without losing this one, just duplicate it and change the name and then change the parameters. Aside from dimensions, there is analytical properties that can change later in our projects. Now let's talk about windows. Inserting a windows in our project is the same process as inserting doors in our projects. So after clicking on the icon, hold the pointer on the external walls and let's add some more windows. Okay, now suppose I want to change the type of the window. So to select more than one windows or other elements, press Ctrl and select the windows. Now from here, let's change the type of the windows. I'm going to select the double windows and this is the result. Now I'm going to see a 3D view. As it doesn't appear in the project browser, I click on the View tab and click on 3D view. There are 3 types that I choose default 3D view. So this is the 3D aspect of my project. You can change the view styles to more interesting ones. So for example, I'm going to change it to shaded. Now let's back to windows. I'm gonna choose this window and there is important dimension about windows that we should specify. Sill height. It's the distance from the floor to bottom of the windows. To change that, I'm going to properties and from sill heights, I'm changing it to 1.2. Now, as you can see in the projects, the height is gonna change. Now back to the floor plan. Suppose I want to change all the sill heights of the windows in once. Let's use a trick to edit properties for all objects of a specific type. After clicking all the elements from floor plan, from these tabs, I'm gonna switch to the specific elements that I wanna show their properties. I choose windows and now if I change the sill height, it's gonna apply for all of the windows. Let's see how to set the height of the walls. When we turn on the command wall, we can edit some of the properties in this panel. One of them is height. The walls that I draw now is gonna set up with the height of 8 meters. By the way, I can choose only the value here because it says it's unconnected. However, we can connect it to a specific level. In this case, I'm gonna go to connect it to level 2. Then I'm going to open the elevation tab. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to open the east. Here you can see the position of each level in this project. The ones below level 1 is the position of the foundation. They are below the surface. Level 2 is located in 3 meters of level 1. The height of the walls, as we didn't modify it, it's still 8 meters. And they don't connect to anything. With selecting, you can notice it here unconnected. The way to change it is quite easy. But before changing, I want to be sure that I've not missed any of the walls to select it. So I'm back to level 1 and I'm selecting all the floors and here switch to walls. Now I'm going to change top constraint to up to level 2. Finally, I'm going back to the elevation floor to the now you can notice the difference. But if you want to change the level of the floor above, you can easily change the choose the level and change the amount to the amount that you want. For example, 2.8 meters. The walls that connect to level 2 automatically update. Another thing is it's possible to change the name of the levels. For example, I'm renamed the level 1 to ground floor and level 2 to first floor. Okay, this is the end of the part 1 of first term. Please like this video, subscribe it, and press this ring to wait for our next video.